Hey everyone, July the 10th today, Nikola Tesla's birthday. He would be 165 years old today. Let's celebrate his birthday with this powerful new moon. Well, if you listened to my earlier videos, the last few, I don't think I promised you too much. I think these have been really manifesting times these last 9 days, early days of July. I mean, they have totally held up to my expectations. Crazy, crazy how many things happened. Just even mentioning the X1.5 solar flare, huge solar flare on July the 3rd. I did write about it. It was Mercury directed. This is very, very interesting. So this is the chart of this new moon in Cancer. Sun and moon here. Cancer being the sign of laying foundations, and it is so much true this year. This is a powerful recreation moment we are just experiencing collectively, and this chart here gives it away with all the additional alignments which I want to bring in too, but again, there's so much I could share with you. So let's just say a few things to start with. It's a Venus-Mars conjunction here. We are approaching on the 13th of this month, July. And before that, we have also a few other really powerful alignments. The Earth here, which is always opposing the Sun, is here perfectly lined up with Hilonome and then Arrokoth, and also Mercury, right? Mercury change is signs in the heliocentric astrology and in the geocentric too. Actually, today, the 10th, Mercury entered heliocentric Aries just a few hours after new moon, and pretty dead on exact when Earth was conjunct Hilonome. More on that in a minute. The nodal axis here in the collective global chart for Greenwich, that is powerful with that south node Juno. It tells me that this is a time of really care for one another, of lookout, of support. Those who have made the wrong choices medically, to be very open-minded and support them as much as we can, and maybe some of them still might change their mind before their second or not. Yes, it's very, very difficult what we see on that dimension coming. The old system is literally in its death throes. And we have to be very aware and on guard that this dying monster is trying to reassert itself. So it's best to just stand back in the next few weeks and let it play out. Stand by and just from a distance watch these final convulsions of this old system. It is dying. Those of you who are following Oracle Girl, Dr. Jacqueline Hobbs, she is an amazing voice of truth, I would call it, who has an amazing perspective of what's going on, because literally, I mean, you have to listen to her. She has been right on that from the start, and this is an enormous transformation which is going on this planet, on planet Earth. And we are right here at the moment of really laying the foundations for the new, for what's to come. That's why it's important to look forward and because right now we are at the place where we almost can, when we almost can make very clear plans, because it's within months at the most that this old system is totally crumbling and falling down. So this is really their last gasp before being deleted, completely erased and banned from this earth for 1,000 years, as the prediction says, which is a very long time. And probably it could be much longer than that, because this is more of an allegorical statement. 1,000 years, that's kind of just an eternity almost in itself. So that's the direction we're moving into. That's what's coming, and this is really the most powerful moment of planting seeds, of looking forward, of doing all the things which we need to do to stand on firm ground and know what to do next when really the old forest is coming down and we now are the new shoots which coming out, and we're building this new society, bringing totally new structure. That's all to be happening. Exciting stuff. So yes, I mentioned it, the south node here with Juno, that's been going on pretty much since January, since early of this year, for a few months, and then Juno was moving faster forward, and now as it's come backward again, it's in very close proximity of the south node. Again, this is the assets which we have. The south node is the feet we stand on in a way, and the north node is where we are reaching out to the direction of our evolution. Interesting that this is the two royal stars here, Antares and Aldebaran, known for that I would say courage and stamina to push through obstacles. And that's a general theme we see here in this chart. Now, there's a few more things in here, as I say, these new planets, and one of them is TD10. TD10 is has been discovered in 1999, and that was when the huge solar flare happened a week ago. TD10 was at 1748 Cancer, and on that moment, on that day, in the moment of the new moon, it was at 1800, so pretty much dead on. So what is TD10 standing for? I have done some research on that point years ago. This is the keywords I found. Let me just pull up the file here quickly. So TD10, sinking one's teeth into something. It's that becoming fixed, determined, obsessed, almost driven, insisting, stubbornness, strong focus. For example, just a couple examples of people who have had these small planets strong in their chart. For example, J.S. Bach, the great composer, he had TD10 opposing his sun, and I guess there's rarely another composer who composed that much music. He was extremely focused and almost obsessed. And the same with Nostradamus, who made all these predictions. He had this Kuiper belt object opposing his moon. So it is that the moon being the channel opening, receiving energy from another dimension. So he was And then another great example is Van Gogh, the great painter. Where do I have that? I thought I had it here too. No, it's not Van Gogh, but he would definitely qualify for that too. He certainly has it strongly placed too in his chart. Anyway, that is one thing. So it is that strong focus. Then on the other hand, it is Hilonome. Hilonome is one of the centaurs, a female centaur. And I have pulled up here this internet resource. Let me just go there, and this was here. Hilonome was the wife of the centaur Sileris, one of the rare female centaurs. When she saw her husband killed in a battle, she committed suicide in grief by thrusting herself on the same javelin that had impaled him. This is a very interesting story, and it shows a couple of ways one can look at that. On one hand, it is that deep love and giving one's life for something one is in love with. I guess there's no better way of saying it. So it is an energy of sacrifice, but also it is that understanding that death is really not a big thing in the end, that something much bigger is there. So that whole transition is seen as something minor, which is a very interesting aspect of what we are going through right now, looking at potential outcomes of all these medical interactions. So Hilonome's themes include grief, pain, suicide, poor boundaries. I'm not agreeing with all that. I think it's kind of an openness to serve and to be to sacrifice oneself for a greater cause. Then, okay, let me just tell you a few things here also about the degree the new moon was in 1801 here in Cancer. Now this is in the hexagrams. If you overlay the 64 hexagrams, the okay, here we are. This is hexagram. Where are we here? That's the one I want to show you here. So we are in Cancer, mid-Cancer, and 18 degrees, that's in hexagram 53. Hexagram 53 runs from 1507.30 to 2045 in Cancer. Again, that's my old website, which I still have up as resource, thecosmosofhinto.org, where you can find all that information and much more. So, and I have the breakdown here of all the degrees, exactly where each hexagram starts and ends. So, what I want to say is that it is hexagram 53 where the sun and the moon have been meeting, and it is the fourth line in that hexagram, and that is a very, very powerful line as it is as it's changing this hexagram's energy completely around. Gradual progress is the theme, and the fourth line, I'm just going here with the translation by the transitional, or I would say, the classic translation by Richard Wilhelm. So it's the picture of a wild goose who gradually draws near the tree. Perhaps it will find a flat branch. So it is a weird situation we're in. That's what this says. But if we are smart and clever, we will find a way to deal with this situation. So it shows that there's enormous resourcefulness to get the outcome we are inviting, we are envisioning. That's the meaning of this hexagram. Then the other one is where the Earth is at the opposite end of the zodiac, which is 54. Let me just again show you quickly here. So 54, that is then this segment, and that is a particularly powerful hexagram, the centerpiece of Capricorn, I would call it. The Marrying Maiden, which is really an, I would call it a fractal of the I Ching symbol, and I show you why. See, here we have the structure of it. It's kind of like, this is the yin part with the black eye in the segment, and this is the yang part, which is supporting from below in proper position with the white eye, the yin eye in its center. So it is really the most powerful interaction of the two forces of this universe. They're actually intertwining one another and embracing into one another. The idea is of that name of the hexagram that it is the emperor's concubine or wife who truly rules the country. So it is the male energy, the creative element, is yielding to the feminine power, which is basically receiving and channeling from a higher dimension in its most refined form. So this is really a beautiful, beautiful hexagram of change, of shift, which is dominated from the principle of the heart, I would say. That's, in my understanding, the core of the feminine principle is the heart approach of being all-encompassing and inclusive. The fourth line is a particularly beautiful one, which in the human design, Rahu Ruhubu, who wrote the first manuals for the human design, he says this is enlightenment and endarkenment at the same time. He calls it one of the most mystical lines of the whole zodiac. That's where Earth is in, and that's where Earth has had its exact yearly conjunction of Hill and Home, which I just mentioned, that whole principle of following one's heart even into another dimension, into even surpassing death, not being afraid, just totally following one's calling. Then there's one more new planet there, Arrokoth. And those of you who haven't heard of Arrokoth yet, I will give you a short breakdown in a minute. So Arrokoth will be exactly conjunct the Sun in a short while. Now, before I want to go to all these additional charts, which I have all here lined up, I want to show you the... okay, I have a few more things I actually should first mention. Varuna. Yes, Varuna here is at the 4th house cusp of the 0 meridian. The 0 meridian being that dividing line on Earth's globe. Yes, it's man-made, it's a concept we have created, but many things are, and we are part of creation, so that's why this is very important symbolically. So on that 0 meridian, that's the zenith over Greenwich, or this in particular, and the whole line on the Earth's globe from north to south pole here. And Varuna is at the root. Varuna is a pre-Vedic creator god. That's what this Kuiper belt object has been named after. It protects rights and life in general. It is righteous, strong in principles, unwavering, ethical, the punisher of those who lie and do not honor contracts. Also called the gold standard or the North Star in the sense of holding highest values. So something is up. I mean, it's been going on for too long. We have been extremely patient, but we know it's coming. There's no question of that. It's just a matter of when exactly. It seems we're getting close. I've just written a small preview already on the upcoming new moon, which is, interestingly enough, on Lionsgate, 8/8, August the 8th, that's the next new moon. And it's a powerful new moon. It really shows that will be the moment when things will really hit the fan. So we have still a few weeks of building up to that moment, and we better use that time to put all these last pieces in place, to be ready to lay the foundations, to have everything in place to then go fast and furious, I almost would like to say, into the new world and get all things changed around as fast as we can. So this is the momentum we're in, and Varuna here at the base of the chart, very beautiful. The nodal axis here again, with that beautiful south node Juno, caring for others and being in that fierce energy of Sagittarius, of aiming for highest principles. Then, as I say, let's move on to the Washington chart for a minute here, as this is still the power center where most likely things will start rattling and falling down, and which will ignite the big changes which are just around the corner. Deucalion, Ceres, Pelion, I have spoken about that in my previous one. Pelion, the mountain, giving weight, putting a strong flashlight, a strong focus light, a beam on whatever it is related to. Ceres, the earth goddess of unconditional love, of caring, but also grief on the other side of the spectrum. Ceres is all that, it is all that motherly emotions. And then there is Deucalion, which is a similar character than Noah in the Bible, someone who's able to foresee, to look into the future, to prepare for something which most people are still totally unaware of. The Aquarian rising. Okay, yes. Anybody here knows what this is all about? The Jupiter-Saturn conjunction was heating up this degree. This is a powerful, powerful degree for the next 20 years. Each time that's activated, it's a renewal of that basic reset which happened on December the 21st in 2020. So this is the Washington DC chart for the American nation, and again, I could say many, many more things. Just want to keep it at that. Just quickly, the midpoint chart of those two, which I always do, show Moon, Jupiter, Ceres conjunction here in the early degrees of Scorpio, together with TX300, which is bold and kind of a little bit, what's the right word? A kind of a brute force. Just do the right thing. Militaristic maybe is a very good way to say. So Jupiter and the Moon in itself, however, in Scorpio, that is loud and kind of exciting. These are exciting times we are moving into, highly exciting for those who are ready for it, who have the mindset and the understanding of what's going on. For many, many other people, it will be more scorpionic in that sense of transformative kind of, and almost they didn't see it coming, so it's kind of against their own will. They're kind of overwhelmed by it, I guess that's the way to say it. Beautiful, this Venus-Uranus conjunction too. That is, again, excitement, and new frequencies are coming in. Yes, Chiron is here as well, and Juno. So it is kind of a mixed bag of excitement, of breaking into a new paradigm, but at the same time it's also first of all an opening of all these wounds and discrepancies, and bringing healing and putting on ointments if you want. But that's again why it is so important to be in that caring energy of our present times, to fully make use of that. And again, yes, that's the same axis where that transiting lunar node is with Juno, as we see here once more. If we go back to this chart, 10 degrees in Gemini and Sagittarius. So yes, now I just have a few more charts here for those exact moments when these other alignments have been or will be exact. Earth was exactly conjunct Hellanome at 9:11 a.m. Universal Time, again for Greenwich, and you see there is these same degrees again. Gemini here at the top of the chart, Sagittarius, Antares, that fierceness of fire, of direction. Orcus and Nessus here in the ascendant and the horizon axis. And again, I want to just reiterate this. This is always 13 degrees resonates strongly with the American chart. You see, we have that 13 degrees Sag, Gemini rising, and also the 13 degrees cardinal Sun here in Cancer. Interesting too that this chart has the moon. Okay, let me just see what I wanted to say. Yes, sun and moon. If you do the midpoint, it's pretty much where Aracot is. So Aracot is enhanced here, and that is then, as I said, just a few minutes later, on 9 minutes later, heliocentric Mercury entered Aries, new beginning of a cycle of ideas and creations, I would call it. Mercury in Aries is the original thought which precedes any manifestation. That's the idea here. God, the creator, I mean, before he could make anything, he had, or she had that idea, that, so it's called dreaming into manifestation. I guess that's the best way to say it. So a new cycle has been started today. And then, okay, this is now tomorrow, Sunday, and I will do a second recording here starting at this point, because now it gets really exciting. We are getting into a new territory also in the Mayan calendar. Thanks for listening. I hope it was interesting and you learned something, hopefully. So see you soon. Thank you.